Translator's Preface of A Vital Question, or What is to be Done? This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Recording by Expatriate in Bangor, Maine. A Vital Question, or What is to be Done? By Nikolai Chernyshevsky. Translated by Nathan Haskell Dole, 1852 to 1935, and others. Translator's Preface. In the present translation, the American public has an opportunity of studying what the paternal Russian government regards as revolutionary literature. In the Russian cities it is possible, by offering guarantees, by depositing 15 or 20 rubles, and by paying 15 or 20 kopecks a day, to borrow Chernyshevsky's novel from the libraries. It is dangerous property, however, and the person caught with it in his possession may make unpleasant acquaintance with the police. It was published first in the columns of the Sovremennik (Contemporary). It was written with all the enthusiasm which an ardent soul could feel at the first breath of liberty, blowing on a land long ground down under the heel of oppression. It made an immense sensation throughout Russia. It is said that hundreds of young girls, living in disagreeable circumstances, started to follow Vera Pavlovna's example, and hundreds of young men to live honorable, lofty, philosophical lives in the fashion of the types represented by Lopukh6f and Kirsdnof. The tendency of the story was quite too liberal, and it was hardly brought out in book form before it was ruthlessly suppressed. Even now, however, it works like a leaven, and though it is dead, it lives. It is not a novel in the strict sense of the word. The characters are all drawn from life. Kirsdnof is understood to be a picture of the distinguished Professor Shevich of St. Petersburg, and Vera Pavlovna still lives. The extraordinary man, so singularly introduced in the third part, is regarded in Russia as an ideal picture of the famous Karakasov. In the present unsettled state of the labor question, this novel of the crushed Russian reformer has a most vital interest. It ought to come to every poor working girl like a breath from heaven, like an inspiration. There is no reason why Vera Pavlovna's industrial experiment, which is no chimerical dream, should not be put into practice in every town where the English language is spoken. Are not the signs as certain as fate that cooperation is to be the great system of the future? And how reasonably it is presented in A Vital Question. Then there will be no more strikes for 8 hours of work, no more quarrels between employers and the employed, for the employed will be themselves their own employers. As regards the still more vital question upon which the book touches, it is evident what the author teaches, and with what a master hand. The present marriage system is in many instances a failure. Witness the proportion of divorces to marriages in every state, not only in this country, but in countries where divorce is allowed, and the immorality everywhere. How is it to be stopped? Not by free love, but by education and the joining of those who were meant to be joined. Marriage is a fact, and how is it to be purified and made sacred? Chernyshevsky offers his theory of its practical solution, not in the philosophically absurd and weak conduct of Lopukh6f, which perhaps was unavoidable in a country like Russia, but in the suggestions of Rakhmetov, which, however, are only to be realized when people have attained a higher state of morality and education than is to be found, except among a very few, in whom the animal nature is absolutely tamed. Cases have been known where man and wife, growing apart by natural development, have again established love through what we call Christian grace. How many such cases are there? It takes a miracle to mix oil and water. This is a question which forces itself home to every man and woman, what is to be done about it? Whatever may be thought about Chernyshevsky's solution, whatever may be thought about the morality of the business agreement theory, whatever may be thought of the conduct of Lopukh6f, there can be no doubt of the intense moral purpose of the author. He may be mistaken, but his virtue is Spartan. It is as heroic as though it were ideally Christian. Such is the motif of the story. But even more important than this special motif is the general theory of the equality of women, the development of which makes the real greatness of the book. Such an ideal
Sample complete. Ready to continue?